This story is about a man who accidentally falls into nuclear waste, which gives him a power so strange that even he is shocked to see it. And what he does with this power is what we know today. The story begins with the calm and beautiful sights of Rome, Italy. But this beauty and peace are quickly shattered when a thief named Enzo runs through the streets, chased by the police, because he had tried to steal my expensive Rolex watch, which he wanted to sell to make a living. While escaping, Enzo tries to hide inside a garbage collection ship that's used to clean the river. He hopes the police will give up and leave, but instead they come aboard the ship. With no other option, Enzo jumps into the river to escape. The police find no trace of him and eventually leave. When the danger seems gone, Enzo tries to come back up, but unfortunately he slips and falls into a tank filled with radioactive waste at the bottom of the river. It takes him a long time to get out of there. Somehow he manages to return to his apartment, but soon he begins to feel sick, fever, vomiting, and a severe cough. He doesn't realize that his body has been contaminated by a dangerous black substance. The next day, surprisingly, Enzo's health suddenly improves. He then goes looking for his neighbor Sergio, who lives one floor below, to sell him the stolen watch. But Sergio isn't home, so Enzo decides to meet him at his worksite. Sergio is a member of a mafia gang led by a ruthless man named Fabio, who doesn't hesitate to kill his own men if they make mistakes. Sergio is known as the most loyal member of the gang. That morning, Fabio was holding a meeting to find someone brave enough to smuggle drugs through the airport. Since no one in the gang was willing, Sergio decided to do it himself. After the meeting, he meets Enzo and buys the stolen watch for 1,000 euros. Knowing that Enzo is a clever thief, Sergio asks him to help in the drug smuggling mission. With no reason to refuse, Enzo agrees. First, he accompanies Sergio home to pick up some things. There, Enzo meets Alessia, who excitedly talks about a Japanese cartoon called Steel Jack. At first, Enzo finds her behavior strange, but soon realizes that Alessia is mentally disturbed. On the way to the airport, Sergio explains that Alessia has been mentally unstable since her mother's death. She often connects the real world with her favorite anime and sees people around her as characters from it. About half an hour later, Sergio takes Enzo to the airport to make the drug deal. But things take a turn when one of the men overdoses on drugs. His friend begs Sergio to take him to a hospital, but instead, Sergio takes him to an abandoned building to finish the deal first. Furious, the man shoots Sergio. Enzo, who witnesses all this, is also shot and falls from the upper floor. Strangely, after falling from such a height and getting shot, he only faints briefly and wakes up completely fine. Shocked, Enzo runs away and returns to his apartment. There, he meets Alessia again, who is still waiting for her father to return. But Enzo doesn't tell her the truth and goes straight to his room. Looking at his shoulder where the bullet hit, he realizes he feels no pain at all. Then, while relaxing on the couch watching a movie recap, just like you guys do, Alessia starts making noise outside his door. Angry, Enzo punches the iron door, and to his shock, it breaks apart completely. That's when Enzo realizes he now has superhuman strength, a result of falling into that radioactive tank. To test his power, he shakes the refrigerator. It feels light. He bends a thick iron rod easily. Finally, he gets an idea: to rob an ATM. Wearing a hoodie and a mask, Enzo goes out, uproots an ATM machine effortlessly, and brings it home. With the money, he buys pizza, burgers, and tons of groceries. The next day, he's stunned to see that even his bullet wound has completely vanished. When he steps outside his apartment, he sees Fabio's gang harassing Alessia, trying to find Sergio, who never returned with the drug package. Fabio himself is under pressure because he owes money to Nuncia, the leader of an even bigger gang. Fabio's men question Alessia about her father and even think about assaulting her. But before anything bad happens, Enzo appears in his hoodie and mask, smashes through the window, and beats up Fabio's goons one by one. Fabio, terrified by Enzo's strength, attacks his legs and escapes, but one of his toes gets cut off. After the fight, Enzo takes Alessia to his apartment to protect her. The innocent Alessia now believes Enzo is the hero Steel Jack from her favorite anime. Meanwhile, Enzo tapes his cut toe, hoping it will heal just like his bullet wound. Alessia laughs when she sees the pile of cash in the ATM box in his apartment. She advises Enzo to use his power for good deeds instead of theft. Her words remind Enzo that Alessia's father, Sergio, died from the gunshot. That night, Enzo can't sleep and opens one of Sergio's boxes, finding a mysterious map, possibly linked to Fabio's gang plans. The next day, Enzo leaves Alessia at an orphanage school to distract her from her father's death. She refuses at first, but when Enzo promises to buy her a princess dress, she agrees. Meanwhile, Fabio and his men watch a viral video of the hooded man who beat them up, realizing it's Enzo. They start hunting him down. Enzo continues his petty thefts. One night while watching his favorite film, he finds an anime cassette that Alessia left behind. When he watches it, he surprisingly starts liking it too. Meanwhile, Nuncia's gang keeps pressuring Fabio for money. Under stress, Fabio decides to rob a cash van, a plan he had once made with Sergio. But before they can act, someone else stops the van and steals the money. It's Enzo again. With that money, Enzo buys new stuff: a big home theater projector and the full DVD series of Steel Jack. He's unknowingly become obsessed with the anime, just like Alessia. Before he can finish watching, police arrive at his apartment. Panicking, Enzo hides. But it turns out they've come to return Alessia, who had run away from the orphanage. Seeing her mental state, the officers tell Enzo to take care of her. Alessia is overjoyed to be back, and Enzo, whom she still sees as a hero, starts to like her too. They watch anime together, but soon Alessia recalls her painful past. After her mother's death, she had been sexually abused multiple times, deepening her trauma. Enzo comforts her and decides to keep her safe. The next day, he takes her to a playground filled with childhood memories of her father. Alessia still believes her father is in the hell world like in the anime. Meanwhile, one of Fabio's men, fed up with his arrogance, advises him to change. Instead, Fabio feeds him to his pet dogs. Enzo takes Alessia to a mall to make her happy. She, who once panicked easily, now starts laughing freely. Keeping his promise, Enzo buys her a princess dress, strengthening their bond. Enzo, who once had no purpose in life, now finds a reason to live, and Alessia finds the protector she always needed. But their happiness doesn't last long. Alessia insists Enzo bring her father Sergio back from the underworld. Enzo loses his temper and blurts out that Sergio is dead. Hurt, Alessia runs away and boards a tram. Enzo chases her and stops the moving tram with his bare hands just to apologize, not caring that his secret might be exposed. And it does. People record the scene, and Enzo becomes known as the ATM-robbing supervillain. Meanwhile, desperate Fabio meets a ladyboy named Marcello to borrow money. But just then, Nuncia and her gang show up and shoot Marcello. They plan to burn Fabio alive, terrifying him, though Nuncia was only trying to scare him. Suddenly, Marcello, still alive, attacks Nuncia's gang. Afraid, Fabio returns to his hideout, only to find all his men dead. On TV, he sees the news about the masked supervillain, Enzo. Meanwhile, after going viral, Enzo decides to take Alessia somewhere safe. But Fabio and his sidekick Tassi secretly follow them. They stop at a hotel, but before they can rest, Fabio shows up, injects Enzo with a sedative, and Tassi kidnaps Alessia. When Enzo wakes up, he's tied up with tape. Fabio shows him a live video of Alessia and demands to know how he got his powers, since he wants them too. At first, Enzo stays silent, but to save Alessia, he reveals the secret. He takes Fabio to the same riverbank where he fell into the radioactive tank. After explaining everything, Enzo begs Fabio to release Alessia, but Fabio refuses until he gains powers himself. Inside the car, Alessia tricks Tassi by asking to use the bathroom, then cleverly attacks him, and we thought she was just crazy. Meanwhile, Enzo feels hopeless, believing their fate is now in Fabio's hands. But suddenly, Nuncia and her gang arrive, shocking Fabio. He calls out for Tassi, but Tassi is already dead. In the chaos and gunfire, Alessia runs toward Enzo but gets shot. Heartbroken, Enzo cries and apologizes, hoping she'll survive. With her last breath, Alessia tells him to use his powers for good, not for theft, and dies in his arms. The next morning, we see Fabio isn't dead. He had drunk the radioactive waste from the river, gaining powers like Enzo. Now Fabio seeks revenge. He storms Nuncia's hideout, recording everything on his phone. He brutally kills her men, dances with Nuncia, and then breaks her spine, killing her too. Now imagine, a man who was already evil and now has superhuman power. What could be worse? Meanwhile, a grief-stricken Enzo has lost all direction in life. But one day he witnesses a car accident. Two policemen rescue a woman, but a small girl is still trapped inside. Without hesitation, Enzo uses his power to save the girl. The mother thanks him repeatedly, and Enzo realizes that true happiness comes from helping others. He remembers Alessia's last words, "Use your power for good." Just then, he sees news on TV. Fabio's video has gone viral, the one where he single-handedly killed Nuncia's gang. Fabio now announces that he'll bomb a crowded place, wanting the world to see him as the most dangerous villain alive. Hearing this, Enzo rushes toward the AS Roma Stadium. When he's denied entry, he lifts a massive barrier with ease, shocking everyone around. Inside the parking area, Enzo confronts Fabio and tries to stop him. But now Fabio too has superhuman strength. The fight is evenly matched. Fabio mocks Enzo and challenges him to a fight inside the stadium, but then escapes and activates a bomb in his car, set to explode in minutes. Seeing the ticking bomb, Enzo panics but quickly grabs it and runs to carry it far from the stadium. Fabio appears again and tries to stop him. Only 1 minute remains before the explosion. Fabio lowers the timer even more, but before disaster can strike, Enzo jumps into the river with Fabio and the bomb. And then, boom! Enzo's heroic act prevents a massive terrorist attack. Fabio's head is blown off in the blast. After this, Enzo is recognized as the superhero who saved Rome from destruction. And that's how the movie ends, teaching us that even if we don't have superpowers, we should never hesitate to help others, because that itself is the greatest superpower of all. So see you soon with another awesome story. Bye-bye!